All right, good morning, everyone. So we will be getting started with our GitHub and Devpost workshop. So the first part of this workshop is going to be taking you through GitHub and how to get started and whatnot. And then the second half will be how to set up your Devpost account and put your project there. So before we get started, I just want to let you know, we will be asking you to start your project on Devpost and have a submission in there by like 1 p.m. So by the end of lunchtime, by the end of lunchtime. But you can edit it throughout the day, right? So the submission deadline is going to be like 6 p.m.-ish. So you should be fine. So don't think that this is final submission. This is just you getting started, and this lets us know, what track are you picking, what sort of project you might be working on, and things like that. So the GitHub part of the workshop is going to be just a demo. So we'll be taking you through step by step on how to go about it and things like that. So stay tuned. So we'll get started. So first thing first, you want to do is you want to make a folder on your if you're on Mac or Windows, whatever. You make your folder, name it what you want to name it. For this demo, we'll be naming it Quantum. And once you do that, you want to go to your IDE. So the most common one is Visual Studio Code. You go there, you open the folder. So there. So we open this folder called Quantum. Awesome. And after you do that, so let's say we add a file, right? Or add a folder. So before we get started, as I am kind of building the file structure for this project, it is very important that as you're coding and building something with your team, you spend a decent amount of time figuring out the file structure and how you want to organize your files, right? Because since you're going to be working together, you want to make sure that you're not stepping on each other's foot or like working on the same file, essentially. You want to always avoid working on the same file, especially since y'all are working on the same project at the same time. So spend some time kind of like separating things, right? So that's exactly what I'm going to do. So I'm going to name a folder, and I'm going to name it member1, member2, right? Just to kind of like give you an idea on how it might look like. So member1, and then we got, and then we got member2. And in there, I'll just make a simple file, like a Python file. We're going to name it good old hello py. And we're going to make a print statement in there. And we're going to do hello hackers. Right? That's it. You save it. And then after that, let's make another file inside member2 folder. So we're going to also call it, hello2.py, right? And over here, I'm going to leave this empty, all right? I'm not going to write anything in here. It's just going to be empty. So for this demo purpose, as of now, I am member1, right? And soon enough, I'll be showing you what member2 should be doing. So member1 is essentially the person who is starting everything off, like creating the repository, starting the files off, putting it on GitHub, and things like that. And member2 would be the person who would be cloning it, and essentially the rest of the members would be cloning it and then work on it. So now that we have our kind of like file system set up, we will move forward to GitHub. Hold on. Sorry about that. So we have our GitHub here. So what you want to do, you're going to click on this green button. It says new. You go there. You give it a name. So for this demo, we're going to name it Quantum. And then very important is that you keep it public. Do not make it private. Because if you make it private, we cannot see your code, we cannot see your project, and thus we cannot judge you or anything. You'll be disqualified, essentially. So make sure it's public, and it stays public by default, so you just don't change it, essentially. So name it Quantum, create your repository. Boom. So you have your repository. So when you create it, it already comes with instructions. Like as you can see, like right here, that's all the set of instructions you really need when you're getting started, right? Like when you're initially putting the initial set of files and folders into your GitHub repository, that's essentially all the Git commands you need. So now we're going to switch over to our IDE, so VS Code. First thing first, make sure that you have Git installed into your local device. Otherwise, none of these Git commands they're not going to work. They're just going to say, oh, can't find such commands like Git or whatever. So look up a video online. It should be pretty straightforward. You just go download it, and it should be within your terminal. And that's that. So I'm not going to go over that. And so after that, now that you have that, as you can see, I am already inside the quote quantum folder. So if you're not, cd into it first, right? And then you should be good. But the way I open the folder within VS Code, if you do it that way, you should already be inside that folder, and you shouldn't have to worry about that. So once you're here, now you want to initialize Git within your files. So you want to say Git init, right? So that initializes it. And then you want to add all the files that you have onto GitHub, right? So you want to say git add and then dot. So dot stands for all. So when you said dot, it essentially adds all the files. But there might be scenarios where you might have to only add one single file. In that case, you just, instead of dot, you put the name of the file. And that's it. That's the only difference. So you add, and then after that, you put in your commit message. So messages are essentially like your way of communicating within your team members and just keeping track of what you did, right? So I'm going to, for example, I'm going to say git, for this one, I'll say git commit -m, and then for the message itself, I'll say initial commit, because this is the initial push that I'll be making, right? But for your scenario, you can put anything you want. But the goal for you is to put such messages in there. That way, your teammates can understand, okay, during this Git push, this is what was done within this push, right? Like, let's say you added a feature. So let's say you added a button, right? So you could name it like, or let's say you made a landing page. So you could say, like, in the commit message, you could say landing page, right? Or let's say you were having an issue that you fixed, like you fixed a bug. So you could say, oh, I fixed this specific bug, and things like that. So after you make the commit, then now you have to establish your connection between your local device and the GitHub repository that you have. So for that, we're going to go to GitHub, and you're going to copy the HTTPS link, not the SSH one, HTTPS. So you're going to go there, and you're going to copy that. You're going to come back here, and the command for this is git remote add origin, and then you're going to just simply paste the link. And once you do that, now the connection was established. Now, you will just a general gist on how GitHub works is that GitHub also has branches, right? So you have your main branch, which is essentially the branch where you have all your finalized code that works, code that doesn't have any bug and things like that. But you can also create your own separate branch. Think of branches like a different version of the same code that, like, think of it like a rough draft, right? So when you write an essay, right, you have rough drafts and then you have a final draft, right? So the branches that you create, that's essentially your rough draft. So you can mess with it, you can make a bunch of bugs and mess it up all you want. And even if you do, you can start from fresh by essentially making a copy of the main branch or the final draft. So that's essentially the idea. So whenever you say main is essentially your final branch or final draft of your code. So now you're essentially going to let your terminal know that the push that you're about to make is going to go to the main branch and no other branch. So you say git branch and then dash m, and and then main. And after that, you simply push it to GitHub. So git push dash u origin main. Now, you would only say git push dash u origin main, like this longer line, when you push it for the first time. Afterwards, all you have to say is git push, and that should do it. Obviously, there can be exceptional cases. So if you come across issues and you can't figure it out through research or whatever, feel free to go to your mentors. They will help you out and guide you through this. So I'll allow that. But what is going on? As you can see, we always have technical issues. You shouldn't have to do this. It's just asking for like extension thing. I don't think you should have to deal with this. But if you do, just log in with your account. All right, so as you can tell, after I logged in, everything, like if you see right there, actually, yeah, that's a good point. Thank you for letting me know. Is that better? Oh, were you guys having a hard time seeing earlier? Yeah, no, yeah, kind of. Okay, sorry about that. Yeah, so feel free to let me know if you guys have a hard time seeing or if you don't understand anything. But so now the initial push was made. The initial set of files that we have here on the left side, it should be on the GitHub repository. So if we go here, not here actually, here. So if I refresh this, as you can see, these two folders are here. If I go inside member one, you can see the hello.py is there. But member two, on the other hand, has hello.py or hello2.py, but the file itself is empty, right? There's nothing in there, and that's very important. So that's what you would essentially do as, like initially, like the first set of things you would do on GitHub, right? And it would be only one of your team members doing it. Any questions on this before we move forward? And if you're concerned about the Git commands, we'll be posting those so you can take a look at it and follow step by step. And even if we don't, it should be, like right when you make the repository, it should be there, as I showed earlier. All right. Now, that was the role of member one. Now we'll switch over to member two. Actually, I lied. Hold on. Because after you make the repository, you have to send invitation to all your, my bad. Give me a second. Technical difficulty. All right, we're back. So after you make your GitHub repository, for your team members to like collaborate with you and use the same repository, you have to invite them first, right? So you go to setting, then you go on collaborators. Say that again. How do I go about it?
Click on the link again.
I see. How do I share my screen? I don't know. You might need to help me out.
Link.
Sorry.
No, you good. There you go.
Sorry about that, guys. So anyhow, so you go to settings, and then you click on collaborators, and once you do, you can add people. And you type in their username, or you can type in their email as well that's connected to that GitHub account, and it should be good. So I added the second member, essentially. So now, that was it. that's all you have to do as the first member. And since member one, I am the one who created it. A lot of the permission related things and who gets access to the repository will be within my GitHub account and not others. And that's it.
No, don't close it. It's gonna stop sharing the screen. Is it still working?
Can you please plug yours in?
It's because of that laptop? Oh, wait.
I think this is VS Code and this is
From here.
we have to?
GitHub is right there.
Oh, okay. So,
Email right here for the link.
so now that I sent member 2 an invitation to the GitHub repository, he should be able to accept the invitation and then move forward with the rest of the process. So once that invitation gets sent to you, you should receive an email. And so I'll show it to you right now. See, as you can tell that he received an invitation from me. And I would view the invitation and accept it. And voila. So now I have access to this repository, right? So now I would go to my IDE and just for like organization purpose, if you're the one who's cloning to the repository that's already made, make a folder, like just how I made a folder at the very beginning and opened VS Code through that. Do the same thing, just so that it's a little more organized and separated, right? And then you can, so as you can see at the top, he also made a folder called Code Quantum, right? So now I can go in here, and as you can tell in my terminal, I'm already inside the Code Quantum folder. So after being there, right, let me make it bigger. Control, right? Yeah, that should be pretty big. Can you guys see that? Okay, awesome. So now that I'm inside the folder, now I can clone that repository and I can start working on things that I need to work on. So first thing first, I would say git clone, and then I would go inside the repository, and then if you click on code, yeah, so if you click on that green button again, code, and make sure that it's under HTTPS, and then copy that HTTPS link, and go back to your IDE. So it's git clone, and the switching from Mac to this is crazy. You just paste the link, git clone, and then the link of your repository, and then you hit enter. It's cloned already, and now once you clone, one thing to notice is that you're still inside the folder that you created, right? Which is called Code Quantum, but there's like a little space in between, right? So what you want to do, you want to CD or into the folder that came from the GitHub repository, which is Code Quantum without any space. So you say code quantum, enter. So now you're in the within the GitHub repository folders, right? So now let's take a look at the code, right? So we have member 1, member 2. So member 1 did his stuff, now I am member 2, right? So let's say all my code is within this folder called member 2, right? And as we saw earlier, the hello2.py file was empty. There's nothing in there. But now we'll write a print statement. So print, so let's say we say, hello, member one, right? And then we save it. My bad. We save it, and okay. So once we save it, now we would essentially do the same process of like pushing the code to the repository, right? And for that, you would essentially add these files. So git add all of them. And then you just essentially commit, make your commit message. So git commit -m, and then let's say, I'm just gonna say member2 changes, right? So you leave your little message in there, and then after that you enter. As you can see that these changes were made, and then you simply say git push, and that's that, right? So whatever changes you made, it was done, and it should be inside the repository. So if we go in here now, and if we go to member2, click on hello2.py, as you can see, the new print message is there, right? Hello member1, right? So that's about the gist of what the process is going to look like for you initially. So what member2 did, every other team member would do the same thing to clone to it and make changes and whatnot. I will tell you about one more thing that might be necessary, is that, so let's say now that I made this change, right, as member2, and I pushed it to my GitHub repository, right? Now, this change was final because this push was made to the main repo, right? Like, oh no, the main branch, right? So if member1 was to go back and start coding, right? Before he starts coding, he has to pull these changes back to his local device, because otherwise there will be a lot of like differences in your code, right? And that's where the whole separation within your file system comes into play, right? So let's say, as member2, I made changes only within the member2 folder, right? So since member1 is only working on member1 folder, even though I'm making changes and pushing it to GitHub and whatever, it's not going to affect him in the long run, right? If he makes his own changes and makes the pull from the GitHub repository like later on, he will still be fine, because the changes will be only made within the member2 folder, not within the member1 folder. So he can still pull the changes and then change his code within the member1 folder and push it, and everything should be fine. And your app or whatever you're building should not crash. So that's about it on GitHub. Any questions? Could you please speak up? For IDE, yeah, you can use whatever IDE you want. Like there's VS Code, as you said, PyCharm, better for Python. There's a bunch of AI stuff going on right now. Cursor is there. You can use whatever you want, and every IDE should come with a terminal. You can just go in there and start putting in your codes, and everything should be good.
Okay, so to put all your files into the thing, you do the dot. So you just always like
Add all
the
the
files in the directory, or like dot slash just goes one step deeper, right, into getting the file name, right?
Yeah, so when you say dot, it will just take everything within your code base and push it. But there are situations when you don't want that, right? So for that, instead of dot, you just type the name of the file. Oh, you're saying like if you should put slash or what?
So when we clone it, should we just like, instead of cloning all of the files, is there a way to like select specific ones in Git?
So when you clone the repository, you want to clone the entire code base that's in the repository, right? You don't want to like.
Oh, because you're updating the repository, you're not downloading new updates, you're just updating the file.
Yeah, so cloning is essentially whatever. So think of GitHub as like a third device, right? So you have let's say you have a team of 4, so you have 4 laptops, and think of GitHub as like the 5th laptop, right? So you have the code available on the 5th laptop, and all these 4 laptops can connect to this fifth laptop and grab whatever they need to grab, right? Think of it like that. So when you clone, you're essentially connecting to this fifth laptop and taking all the code that's in there and bringing it into your own laptop and coding and making changes and putting it back there, right? Think of it like a shared file system, essentially.
But if you're working like on your own thing in your own files and somebody makes a new update to their file, should you wait until you're ready to update your file before you
I see what you mean, yeah. So the thing with that is that will happen a lot because you were working together at the same time for the entire 8 hours. What you want to do, like since you will be having your own separate folder, you should be good, even if they're making changes and pushing it to the repository. The only thing is that if you are ever making a pull, so essentially taking code from the GitHub repository and bringing it into your own device, like the updated code, you want to make sure that you copy it into like a notepad or something, your entire file.
Oh, and then copy that into
Yeah, so have it a little separate because you have been obviously working, right? While others have been making changes. So you want to copy it.
You don't want to overwrite it.
Yeah, so you want to copy it and have it separately ready so that you can copy it back here, right? So you copy the code, put it in a notepad, right? And then make a pull. So once you pull, only the updated version of the code will be in your laptop, right? And in that case, what can happen is that since the other member is not doing anything within your folder, all the changes you're making, they'll be gone, right? And so once you pull it and you have the updated version of the code, the most recent one, then copy the code from the notepad real quick and then put it back in your file.
Okay, so put your code somewhere else, pull it.
Yeah, so that's the best way to go about it, considering that it's only 8 hours you get. There are a much better way of doing it, which is called Git branches, but that, in my opinion, can get very complicated if you don't have decent knowledge on it. Because with Git branches comes merge conflicts, and with merge conflicts there are other issues. Yes.
Just to add on to that too, yeah, branching is normally how we would do it. And like even in our office, like we make branches when we run the same bit of code together. Because sometimes if you pull it back to master, which is like the main branch,
Good
something you were probably doing gets overwritten and you probably can't revert to that. So always keep like a local copy somewhere so you can always look back to it. So it's like where did I put it? Where did I
Before
put
you do
it?
any new stuff. So.
Yes.
Just so that you don't lose your progress. But grid branches is a great way to go about it. Feel free to learn it on your own time. But if you, again, if you end up coming across any issues, because GitHub means issues, so you'll face issues. And we have mentors all around the rooms. Sean himself is a great mentor. He put together the entire data science track. So feel free to ask him any questions. He can definitely help you out. Feel free to actually ask some of the organizers as well. They might know. If they don't, they'll get you a mentor and they'll help you out. Any other questions about GitHub? All right. So we will get started with our Devpost part of the workshop. Give us like 2 minutes for us to set it up real quick, and we can get started. And if you check Discord announcement, there should be a link, like a specific link for the Code Quantum Devpost event. Make sure you created a Devpost account and and then go to that link and get that ready while we set it up here. All right. What we're gonna go about it is like I'll just send you the slides because it doesn't make sense to switch again. You know what I mean? I'll send you the slides and then on Slack and then we can just pull it up here and go through it.
How long? Like 20 or 30 more minutes? It should be fun. Put it on full battery.
Yeah, sure, fine. Just the slides. It's pretty quick, I'll say.
Yeah.
20 minutes at most.
think the beginning slide is just missed.
There's so many candidates. Like, how do I get candidates?
Honestly, I prefer that you did salad sandwich.
Bro.
I guess they don't know now.
This hackathon is also sponsored by Zepbound. Also, use that instead of Arc. Arc is broken.
Alright, so is this working?
Yeah, just give it time, yeah.
Screen. There we go. Alright, so now we get to the part where you learn how to submit your project on Devpost. It's pretty straightforward. So you're done with the first step, right? You have your project on GitHub. Yeah, if not anything, you have made your repository, right? Even if you don't have a file there, essentially you have a repository and you have a link to that repository. That's all you need to get started with Devpost, right? And later on, you can continue, putting your files in GitHub, and that link will be obviously updated, and all should be good. So first thing first, I mean, this is kind of like a rundown, real quick rundown of how to put your code on GitHub, and this is the console version of it. So earlier, I showed you how to do it on the terminal. This is more like buttons and clicking and stuff, right? So as you can see, you create your repository, right? Click on the green button as we did earlier. Put your name there, right? So this name is very important. Make sure you know that name. This is going to be the name of your repository, name of your project, and everything, like essentially. Make sure that's public, very important. Feel free to leave a description, right? You can add this description later on as well. So yeah, it's up to you. You can either do it at the time or later on, either is fine. And then, so once you make the repository, you should have that HTTPS link, right? As we have been using it so far. So you take that link, and so this shows how you essentially so once you have coded your files on your IDE, like VS Code or something, you can drag and drop these files and then commit changes that way. And then, yeah, so as you can see, after you uploaded it, your files are there. And then there's an add file button right here. So you can use that to add more files as you continue coding and building your project. Up next, and so now that you made it, as you can see, the HTTPS link is up there as well, like on your the URL box. And now, how do you put it on Devpost? So first thing first, did all of y'all make an account on Devpost or put that down as your note? Okay. So once you make your account, you should find the link to the Code Quantum Hackathon page for Devpost on Discord announcement. We already posted it. So after making your account, you would go to that link, and that should put you here essentially. And you would say join hackathon, right? And then after that, you would go to the My Projects tab at the top, like right here. And then after that, you would essentially say create project, right? And once you create your project, you can fill in the description, right? And before you do that, make sure that all your team members are added to this Devpost essentially post that you're about to make, right? Everyone should be the name of your team members, or I think it's either name or the GitHub ID, either. So those should be on this Devpost submission, as well as your project name, project description, and all that. So make sure that all of them have joined this submission that you're about to make. And after that, you essentially fill out all the section in the Devpost. If you need help, let us know, let the mentors know, even again, some of the organizers know. If they don't know, they'll get you help. So fill it out with all the information that it asks for. And after you do that, Devpost also has some default project story sections that you can fill those out if you would like. But make sure to include an executive summary. So essentially what your project is about, what you did, why you did it, why is it important, why is it impactful for your users. Make sure you put in a good description in there. Honestly speaking, how you fill out your Devpost submission and how much details you put in there, it helps the judges a lot to understand how they should judge you and if you should win or not, right? Sometimes it's hard to tell, oh, what's the reason or what's the motivation behind your project, or what's the impact of your project, just by looking at your project, right? So sometimes these descriptions, they help a lot, and it helps us connect the dots. And then finally, as you can see, it says GitHub repository URL. That's where you paste that HTTPS link that you got from your GitHub repository. And any additional information that might be there. So again, you can also select your tracks, as you can see, like beginner track, right? So that's essentially what you have to do by 1 p.m. So by 1 p.m., we need everyone who wants to compete to submit a Devpost submission, essentially, right? And make sure to put your GitHub link and the tracks that you want to compete for in there. And as far as how many tracks you can do at most 2 tracks, but you're not gonna end up like, how do I say it? Like, even if your project is like so cool and the best, you'll only win 1 prize. Well, you will not win like 2 prizes, if that makes sense. So keep that in mind while you select your tracks and whatnot. And then finally, you just submit it and you did it. And once you do that, we have all your like general information on what the project kind of can be about and what track you're going for. We get all that. And then throughout the day, you can add more description, add more details, do it all, and make all sorts of changes. But by 6 p.m., it will be the submission deadline. So after that, you can't make any changes. And then you'll be judged for it, or we'll go through judging, and we'll let you know the results and during closing ceremony. And before you leave, there are some few tips we would like to give you. So after you submit your project and it's judging time, you would need to put together a little bit of like a presentation, right? You could have your demo of the project, a couple slides maybe talking about what it is, like, like essentially present it, like kind of like how you present it in class, right? But it's just a little quicker. So you would only get like 5 minutes to present to judges. So judges would like cycle around, like, right? Like you would probably be judged by like 2 to 3 judges, right? So present the same thing 2 to 3 times. And based on how you present it, that's how they're gonna like put down notes, give you some points and whatnot, and then they'll discuss it later on. So make sure to put aside some time for that too. And then you want to ask yourself, what is the goal of the project, right? What is the project itself, and what goal is it trying to achieve? What problem is it trying to solve? So I personally would say start off with finding a problem, and then try to solve that problem through coding or some sort of product that you end up building, right? And what did you learn out of it? Because one thing I really want to emphasize is that this Code Quantum is not only for just, oh, we participate, we win, and like we're the best, we know it all. We don't expect you to know anything at all, but we do expect you to come in and be willing to learn, right? I feel like as long as you come in and take something away from this 12-hour hack day, it could be something as simple as like networking with someone, making a new friend, or learning something from the mentors or these workshops. I say that's more than enough. You have done it. You have done enough and taken enough from this hackathon. But if you win, that's great. You get to see how hackathons kind of happen. That way, when there are bigger hackathons, now you have a general idea of how it goes, and you can participate on those and possibly win. So yeah, and also consider in mind, like another thing I want to mention is that within 8 hours, it can be difficult to finish a project, right? But try to reach a finish line where like it's enough for you to like show the judges something, right? Some sort of demo. So that being said, there's a big possibility that your project won't be complete. In that case, you want to add a slide on your presentation where you want to talk about what is your future goal with this project and where do you want to take this project. And you want to explain that to the judges, because that matters a lot too. Because as we mentioned when we explained the tracks, it's not just about coding, it's also about what your vision was, what your understanding was about this project, and how you kind of like broke it down, right? And then further, as it says, feel free to explain how you approach the problem and why did you choose a certain approach and what tools did you use. So the technologies that you're using to build your project, I would list those in the slides, like a brief, like you can even have like just a list and that's it, and just just say, like list them out to the judges. That's good enough. What's next? So yeah, so if you're done with this with your project, which that's great. So then after that, you can spend some time like learning more, like go around, talk to the mentors, network. I would say that's a big one. There are many amazing individuals in this building right now who has internships, great experiences. There's a lot to learn from them. We will be actually having a panel later on. Check your schedule, the time, and the room number should be there. It should be in the same. It will be in the same room, but just check the time, and we will have interns and industry experts who will be here. You can ask a lot of questions to them and learn from them. And judging criteria, as I said, it's not just going to be about coding. It's going to be about how you present it, what your idea is, what your vision is, what process you went through, how you handled conflicts, and things like that. And judging process, as I said, it will be 5 minutes of presentation for every judge. They'll come by and you present it to them. You can ask for feedbacks if you want, and they'll essentially move on to the next project, right? And judging will start at 6:30. It will end around like 8 p.m.-ish. And then at 8, we'll have our closing ceremony, and that's where we will be announcing the winners and whatnot. Any questions? I know that was a lot of information, I feel like. But so if you have any questions, feel free to ask right now. Or
So we should have this presentation ready by the time that we submit the project. Is judging start immediately after that?
judging starts at 6:30, so you have about 30 minutes. So I personally would think that 30 minutes is not enough to put a presentation together, but like,
You can finish your presentation.
right, you can like polish it up real quick or whatever you had to do. And the other thing is that you're not going to be submitting the presentation. You just have it on your computer or laptop or whatever, and you just show it to the judges, and they'll be like, oh, okay, this is what's going on. And then they'll judge you based off of that. So any other questions?
Is this slide also up?
Right. So I will be posting these slides under announcements. Right, that's a good, yeah, under announcements. And so feel free to go there and go through them, and like the steps are right there. And even some of the GitHub stuff is on there too if you decide to do it through the web rather than terminal. But if you have terminal related concerns or questions, feel free to ask the mentors, and you should be good. Any questions? I'm guessing no.
Thank you guys.
Thank you. Happy hacking.